My name's Ben Craig, I'm the Director for Homeworks Energy and we're carrying out the solid wall insulation work at Yew Tree Hill in Brinklow. So the process is to externally wrap the entire footprint of a building in insulation and then render over the top. We use expanded polystyrene, a 90mm thick board, and that's fixed to the external surface of the property using big long plastic fixing pins. It's then rendered over with two base coats, one of which has a mesh laid into it to give the render its strength and structure. And then it has a primer which is of the same colour as the finished top coat, and then the finish we've gone with on this scheme is what we call a 1.5 silicon finish. So that means it has a small aggregate in it, means it's slightly textured like a very fine pebble dashing, and it's pre-coloured, so it retains its colour and requires very little maintenance in terms of painting it. We were contacted as part of RETA, which is the Renewable Energies Technological Alliance, which is a small group of companies in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. We were selected as one of the nominated installers on a number of different measures across the scheme. The scheme has been run by Warwickshire County Council and is using some money from central government, from the Department for Energy and Climate Change, to kickstart interest in renewable technology and insulation measures across the county.
Across Warwickshire, more than 20% of households are in fuel poverty. That means that they're spending more than 10% of their disposable income on energy. This is a very high level, and with energy costs rising in the future, it's important that we try and address this. The funding for this project has helped enormously by demonstrating that within a rural setting, in a rural community, we can actually make significant changes and make the properties much more energy efficient. Traditionally, this sort of work has only been undertaken in urban environments. That's because it's far easier to do. But with most of Warwickshire being rural, it's important that we actually look and demonstrate how this can be done and achieved. This pilot project does that.
So the properties on Yew Tree Hill that we focused on are constructed out of concrete, not even a double skin of brickwork, so they're particularly thermally inefficient. And actually the U value for each property is 2.1. That's the number of kilowatts of heat which leaves the property per metre squared of wall area. And so that level of 2.1 is brought right down to 0.3 after the solid wall system has been installed. So it really does improve the thermal efficiency hugely, which not only improves the comfort for the client and the resident who's living in the site, but actually will improve the value of their property. It makes it a more sellable option when it goes onto the market.
Well, I've lived here 40 years. And the houses have always been cold. But since they put the stuff on the outside, it's made a tremendous difference. You know, well, I'd have the heating on all day today, but now I've got it switched off. You know, I don't need it on, sort of thing. I'd advise people to have it. Anybody that doesn't have it is really silly.
There's no better sales point for these kind of measures than interest from the local community. If Mrs. Greenove takes the bus into town and speaks to her next door neighbour on the bus about what a wonderful effect she's had from the solid wall insulation in her house and how much warmer she is in her home, then that does so much more to promote the service than any kind of leafleted literature that comes through the letterbox, or any sort of little local press articles, or indeed any news articles. So it's really to get interest from residents and get them talking to other residents about how much it's improved their lives.